This volume is about how to shoot interviews, not necessarily how to conduct them. But we thought since we're here, we might as well throw in a few pointers for the reporters. If you're doing a formal interview, do your research ahead of time and have an outline of where you want the conversation to go. Don't try to have a word-for-word list of every single question you're going to ask. So be curious, ask follow-up questions. If your subject gets too far off the focus, then bring them back with your outline. Try to keep your interviews as short as you can. You certainly don't want to rush the interview, but you also don't want to dig through an hour of footage when 5 minutes is plenty. A quick run-and-gun interview can be as short as 30 seconds, while a formal sit-down interview that was planned months ahead of time might take much longer. Just remember that every minute of footage you shoot in the field is probably 5 minutes you're going to spend in the edit bay. The first and most important question you ever ask as a reporter:
can you please say your name and spell it for me?
Savannah Steffen, Savannastephen.
Can you please say your name and spell it? That way you have the person's name, how they spell it, and pronounce it. That will save you so much time when it comes time to do lower thirds. Be sure you're not asking yes or no questions. Here's what happens when all your questions are yes and no questions.
Are you the new financial secretary?
Yes.
Are you excited for that job?
Yes.
Is that job on cabinet?
Yeah.
Have you handled that stuff before?
No.
Here's the sound bites that we just got from that interview.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No.
You can see you get a bunch of one-word sound bites that make no sense without the question. Instead, ask open-ended questions like this.
Tell me about your new job as financial secretary.
Well, I'm really excited about it. It's a new job on cabinet. It's being introduced to cabinet this year.
And these sound bites are actually useful in your news story. Sometimes you get a better response from just asking someone to elaborate, or asking, "What do you mean by that?" Be curious and let a conversation happen.
Why were you selected in cabinet?
I'm really good with numbers.
Tell me more about it.
Well, I've always been ahead in my math classes, and I really enjoy it.
If you know you're not getting a solid soundbite, try rephrasing the question. Sometimes people give better responses when they've had some time to talk it through. One way to get your subject to elaborate is with silence. Instead of immediately tossing another question at them, try just smiling in silence at them. They'll often fill this silence by elaborating on what they were talking about, and sometimes it sounds a lot better the second time around. When your subject's talking, try not to do this.
Well, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah?
It's a new job to cabinet.
It's awesome.
No one's ever done it before, so I'll be introducing a new track to cabinet.
Okay.
I'll be in charge of doing fundraising.
That's awesome.
Doing graphs, working with money. I'm the money person.
Awesome.
These sound bites are completely ruined by the reporter because she's verbally responding the entire time. Now, this is kind of human nature, but you gotta try not to do this. Show your subject that you're paying attention by nodding along and keeping that eye contact.
Well, I'm really excited about it. It's new to cabinet, so I'm going to be introducing something that no one has done before. I'll be doing the fundraisers, all the financial track. I'm going to be making graphs, working with numbers, which is something I love to do. So I'm excited for it.
Especially if you're doing a happy story, try smiling at your subject while you're interviewing them. It might feel a little strange, but people instinctively smile back when someone is smiling at them. This can help relax them, and it'll make them look a lot more pleasant in the camera. Sometimes the hardest part of an interview is just asking for one. This is especially true in a run-and-gun situation. Just remember that most people don't mind being asked for an interview. If they don't want to do it, they can say no. Like anything, this gets easier with time, and just never be afraid to go up and talk to people. And the final tip for reporters, save the hardest question for last. For example, if you ask the new student council treasurer if she stole funds, this might happen.
Can you tell me about the funds that were stolen from Stuco last year under your watch?
I don't know what you're talking about. This was nice. I'm done. Goodbye.
If this happens at the beginning of the interview, you could walk away with no sound bites. But if you save it to the end of the interview and the subject storms off, at least you have the beginning part of the interview to work with in your edit. Okay, reporters, let's review. Make an outline. Keep it short. Please say your name and spell it. Don't ask yes or no questions. Ask people to elaborate. Try rephrasing your questions. Don't talk over your subject. Try smiling at your subject. Don't be afraid to ask for an interview. And finally, save the hard questions for last.